Hey there, it's Ben from patternprofits.net bringing you our weekly watch list. Starting as we usually do with the IWO proxy for small cap growth, we came right up or almost to that 315.98 double bottom pivot. Now it looks like we're putting in a handle, which is a healthy action. If we can go sideways a few more days here on light volume and then push through that level, it would set up well to take out that 319.20 and give a run back towards those prior highs near 340. But if we look at FFTY, which is another one I like to look at, not as healthy over here with the IBD 50. Thursday and Friday week and closed below anchored VWAP from the high and year to date. Kind of built that volume shelf here and now at the lower end of that. Bigger triangle is the pattern that's forming here. So we'll have to see how that acts early in the week. Needs to reclaim these levels and the descending trend line. And if we compare what's happening there in growth compared to the SPY, which is pushing into new highs, and the QQQ also pushing out right into new highs, a bit extended at this point too. Does kind of make sense that we'd see a pullback and some sideways action. You'll see that kind of a theme in some of the names. You'll also notice this black arrow is the 40-day mark on the cycle. We are, I believe, at day 36, so tend to see some weakness into that 40-day cycle. Let's get right into the watch list, docu. And like I said, you're going to see a theme of pulling back and forming handles. These have had big runs, and now coming back would look better if they go sideways for a few more days and put in handles. There's quite a few of them. Docu, Roku is another one. Had this big run off the anchored VWAP. Double bottom pattern, cleared the pivot, came up to these prior highs, and now pulling back and putting in a handle. Would be nice to see this come back a few more days. Wouldn't mind seeing the range contract, volume ease up as they go sideways, and then look to push through that 462.99 pivot. Roku, I believe Peloton is another one. Yeah, this one a little lower in the range, but did kind of poke its head up above the 124.80 pivot. Nice volume on the way up, and now putting in that handle. You'll notice that that's the case with many of these, putting in the handle that have had the big runs off the bottom. One that I'm looking for a breakout now, NOW 565.29 pivot, double bottom base. Good volume here on the way up the right side. Putting in a little bit of a handle here too, like we discussed, but watch that 565.29 level maybe in play. Also, another theme that I see, retail, big group of retail names as well as oil and gas names. So if we do see rotation and those tech names go sideways, I'm going to watch energy and I'm going to watch retail for money flow. It seems like I share this one every week, but CHX, I still like this one in the pinch. Watch for that one to come out of there. Before I get to the retail names, I do want to point out a couple of biotech names for my biotech friends that are setting up. Flag up high in BNTX. The stock has done this before, has a history. Watch for that one to break the descending trend line and come out there. The high, 227 was a high there on Friday, so watch that level over that high. Gets it out of the flag. Similar PDSB. Another one in biotech. Kind of a similar setup there. Flag up high and tight. Watch for the breakout there. Push into new highs. Now, getting back to those retail names, because I have quite a few of them this week, and most of them come from the Power Earnings Gap list. This is one, Harley Davidson, anchored VWAP from off of the Power Earnings Gap, had a big push here, but then came in as a lot of the value names pulled back. Now looking to reclaim that anchored VWAP from the Power Earnings Gap. It tried to clear the descending trend line, couldn't quite do it. You have volume shelf, just above. You'll see if I pull this over, you can get a better idea of where that is. So looking for that inside day. We always like to see that inside day kind of sets up the bigger move as it comes out. So keep an eye on HOG. Also CRI, Carter's. Again, this is in that group. Tried to come out of the pinch and reclaim anchored VWAP from off of the high, and descending trend line just above inside day late on Friday. Look for that to reclaim and come out. May take a couple more days of sideways to set up and push through, but that's another one worth keeping on your radar as that group is super hot. Weight Watchers just reclaimed anchored VWAP. Big volume days. You have a couple of them. I'm looking for that next big volume day to come in. You have anchored VWAP from off the power earnings gap back here. Just reclaimed it late on Friday. Volume shelf point of control just above. So looking for that to make the turn, push through. May need to come back, kind of retest. If it does push through, turn that anchored VWAP back up. But that's what we would be looking for. I always say you can never turn your back on them. Dix, after shaking out, we discussed this one quite a bit a while back about that $100 level. When it couldn't push through, you did get this kind of rejection at the $100 level, shook everyone out, but now has reclaimed, flagging up high, and not a bad way to finish the week last week. After dancing below the $100 level, was able to close above it. Little flag pattern here. Look for that to push out into new highs. I also have, I mentioned this one on FinTwit last week, URBN shaping up nicely up high. We've got a little cup pattern putting in the handle here. You did have a power earnings gap back here. It's kind of going sideways now, consolidating. Would like to see this range tighten up even a little bit more. 41.95 year pivot above. Again, this is a red hot group, so worth keeping an eye on. Same type of idea with RH. Big power earnings gap here, anchored VWAP from off of that gap, holding as support now, going sideways. You've got a nice little tight consolidation here. Looking for that to push through this little pattern, give it a run to 719.77. Above that, you have prior highs 733.05. All of this to me looks like a sloppy cup and handle pattern, so look for that to get a little bit cleaner as it makes the turn up the right side. Volume shelf point of control right there. If I bring this over, you'll see you're right there. Good area of support there, the volume, especially if it pushes above and out of this little flag consolidation. I also have a little bit different pattern, but still the same retail theme. Stitch Fix. Power earnings gap back here. The anchored VWAP is in there. It's a little tough to see. Let me blow it up a little bit. But it's still descending, but you close right there. You have anchored VWAP from off of the high, and the red one there is the year to date just above. But this has consolidated sideways enough that I'm looking for that to make the turn and push through. That's the action that we want to see. More aggressive traders as it comes through. The safer play is to watch it push through, turn the anchored VWAP back up, come back and retest those levels from the upside, and then push out higher. But again, this is a hot group worth keeping an eye on. One in different group, gaming, pointed to this one last week. I really like how this one's setting up. Zynga, ZNGA, about to turn profitable. They do have some good numbers. I gave it a shot last week with some others in the group, like Skills, got shaken out of that one, but this one has looks good. Has had problems with the $11 level, been rejected a couple times. If it can push through that $11 level, and it looks set up to do so, I think it can have a run up towards these prior highs like we've seen with so many other names. So if tech does look good early in the week and Zynga can push through that $11 level, I think there's an opportunity there. That's all I've got on the weekly watch list for this week. I do hope you guys have a great trading week. I hope it was a fantastic 4th of July, and I will see you over on FinTwit.